Are you tired of building a great base only to be slaughtered by a horde of mega-sized alien insects? The good news is you're not alone, so kick back and relax. We're going to be burning the midnight oil. This is Woodsman the Peasant's Infestation, Heatstroke Defense. We've all been there, cozy and warm, maybe having a good old-fashioned hot cocoa, watching that thunderstorm outside under a sturdy roof with your best friends. Maybe old Donkey isn't moving as fast since that sheep ripped off her leg, and old Albert's been waiting for a new kidney for God knows how long. But all in all, times are good, and that's when you hear the scratching. My first attempt to thwart the insects came in the form of incendiary mines. You can see things are really starting to heat up. Unfortunately, my strategy had a flaw. The sneaky cephalopod took down one of the walls, freeing his burning brethren. When it comes to a good old-fashioned slog, you want to get a good melee peasant on point, with a bunch of gunmen behind him. The plasteel axe is a powerful early-game weapon that you can craft. Fighting the bugs in close quarters is never a good idea, but then again, neither is crash landing on a hostile RimWorld. Sometimes you have to play the cards you're dealt, because the bug situation will get worse and worse. Fighting in close quarters favors melee and shotguns, but shooting a bug in the face point blank with your sniper rifle to prove to your fellow colonists how badass you are always wins brownie points. Another discussion for another day. The moral is that when performing the heatstroke defense, you must make sure that all the surrounding walls are bolstered. Otherwise, the bugs will break down the barriers and escape. Also, it is better to go for a heatstroke kill rather than a burning kill, though it isn't as fun. Although it is worth noting that if you have too much fun burning things, Jaime Lannister will slay you from behind. One can always bravely flee, pack up some pemmican and head into the bush, but sometimes you have to make your stand, like Gandalf did that one time. Insects like caves, and walling them off and creating an indoor area will allow you to superheat the air and burn the insects. Even if it is impossible for you to wall off the insects this time around, well, insects, they're like Terminator. They'll be back.
I'll be back.
Once you've walled them off, you need to fill the area with plenty of burnables. Wood is a classic choice and highly recommended because it is cheap and plentiful. But rice can also work. In fact, many things burn quite well, just like real life. Not that I would know. Drop a zone a good distance away from the insects so as not to alert them, and start piling on the wood. In a large chamber, 1,300 wood will do the trick, but it depends on the size. In this attempt, the chamber was far too large, and only a couple hundred wood placed didn't do the job. The insects were able to weather the storm. When you're ready, send your brave colonist in with an incendiary launcher or Molotov cocktail. The bugs start to show signs of heatstroke around 215 degrees Fahrenheit. In this attempt, I got it up to about 20% heatstroke before all my fuel had burned up. I needed more fuel from the get-go. I noticed that you can bring in your peasant and continuously shoot around the incendiary launcher to try to get the temperature up before you actually start burning up your burnables. This helped a lot. Later I discovered that if you don't stand in the doorway, it's even better. The bugs went up to about 40% heat stroke this time, but clearly I still needed more burnables. After putting about 800 burning materials, I had better results. Eventually, the bugs will wisen up and attack the walls. Make sure you set your walls as home to be able to repair them. If you maintain a temperature above 220 degrees Fahrenheit, you will continue to give them heat stroke. Creatures become downed from heat stroke around 65%. Pretty soon, the bugs will have collapsed from heat stroke, though a few late arrivals might make a guest appearance. Still, better kill a couple of stragglers than a whole swarm. Eventually, I was able to clear out all the late arrivals and all the hives. But all in all, the moral was that I hadn't gone big enough in the initial pile of burnables, and the battle was dragged out longer than it had to be. If you're going to do something, better to do it right in the first place. On the second try, I used more fuel and continuously shot the area with the incendiary launcher. The temperature hovered around 280 degrees, and then the fires went out again. The temperature dropped to 170, so I knew that they were no longer getting worse in terms of heat stroke. However, the temperature has to drop even lower in order for them to start getting better and curing their heat stroke. So they stayed at their dangerously high 50% heat stroke long enough for me to get some more fuel. That put us over the top, and we got just what we wanted. The bugs had been downed, but they were still alive. I made the mistake of not keeping up the heat, and some of the bugs recovered, but they were slower and easy to kill. All in all, it always feels super good to beat back a horde of ordinary mega insects with human ingenuity. On the third try, I decided to experiment with chem fuel. The temperature shot up to about 350 degrees very fast, and the bugs did not like that one bit. They went down around 65%, but I had burned through all of the burnables. That is when I realized that insect corpses burn real well. Moral? After you down them, you can just send your incendiary launcher guy in, and then incendiary the bugs that are down themselves, and this will start another fire. So, in conclusion, get 1,200, 1,300 wood, don't skimp. Take one peasant, and have him go wild with the incendiary launcher. Get the temperature hot. The bugs can't stand the heat, but don't let them out of the kitchen. Build your wall strong enough, because the bugs will try to escape. When they collapse, send in your OG to fire off the kiss of death, and light their downed corpses on fire. If you do, you will become a heat stroke hero. Are you a heat stroke hero? Tell us your stories in the comments. This is Woodsman the Peasant. Don't forget to catch me on Twitch and other places. Subscribe and join the Woodsman. And as always, be good and watch out for those crazy mega insects.